Cruz drives to the spot in Chesapeake, Maryland, after receiving final instructions from Joe over the phone. Cruz, on the other hand, is very concerned about how and what he should say to Aliyah and her friends. Joe boosts her profile by encouraging Cruz to answer questions with questions, and forcing the buddies to chat about their lives because it is all they care about. She also informs her that her automobile will be bugged and tracked. Joe meets with Caitlin to talk about the mission. They discuss Aliyah's access to Asmari's resources. Caitlin believes it's a deliberate ruse to catch the mole. Kudra Petrol even owns the house Cruz is heading to. Joe has prepared an evacuation squad in case something horrible happens at the celebration. As she walks out of the restaurant, Joe is accosted by Kyle, who appears to be an old acquaintance from her time in Afghanistan. Joe is noticeably shaken upon seeing him. Her step is tense because she knows he's after something. Kyle's squad is planning an operation to intercept trafficking Syrian people at the border. His target is in jail and being moved across state lines. But if word gets out that the prisoner is a snitch, he won't make it out alive. He devises an unthinkable plan, pause the transfer in the middle and extract the mark. He requests Joe's squad for this purpose, and she looks at him in disbelief. She decides to give him 3 members of her team after much thought, but she wants them back within 2 days.
You made it! It's my friend Zara. That fucking hair wet!
You're in the fucking pool.
I'll explain the whole soap opera. Did what Camilla does and fucked some little blonde together.
Doesn't seem to bother him. Poor dates Sammy.
Cruz is subjected to intensive examination from Asmari's staff, as predicted. They immediately do background checks and assign a man to her for the party. Aliyah welcomes Cruz and introduces her to the circle of friends. It's amazing to see how they react to Cruz. They aren't as intrigued since they believe Aliyah has rescued yet another stray. When Aliyah takes Cruz shopping for a bikini, they refer to her as her next project. Aliyah is taken aback when she sees the bruises on Cruz's body after she shifts. She is alarmed rather than suspicious, and she quickly summons her doctor to examine Cruz. Joe notifies her squad of Kyle's side mission, and 3 volunteers to go. The remaining members of Joe's crew are worried because they believe Cruz's cover is about to be broken. And they are not mistaken. Dr. Bramley looks at her and knows she wasn't in a car accident. He suspects domestic violence and feels bound to report it to the authorities. While the squad prepares to depart, Joe wants to give Cruz time to persuade Bramley differently. Joe's wager pays off when Cruz successfully escapes the situation. Aliyah sends all of her pals to the city and goes for a walk on the beach with Cruz. Her demeanor toward the troubled Middle East area is evident. She despises their rigid regulations and lack of wealth beyond the confines of the palace she lives in. Ehsan, her boyfriend, works in Manhattan, which is ideal for Aliyah. She also cautions Cruz to avoid Malika and Nashwa, her pals, since they try to undermine Aliyah's new friendships. Joe returns home and stumbles in on Kate trying to have sex with a boy. She contacts his mother and tells her what he's been up to. Kate throws typical adolescent tantrums against Joe, oblivious to the absurdity of her argument. Joe carefully listens, not responding to Kate's provocation. Neil is on the porch, conducting a surgical procedure via video. Joe tells him about Kate, and Neil shocks her with the rules he and Kate had made around such indulgences. Joe requested that he confer with her, but he correctly points out that she is never at home. Meanwhile, emotions are rising in Maryland. Cruz is unable to sleep and encounters an intoxicated Sammy in the kitchen. He attempts to push himself on her, but she easily repels Sammy. He does not give up and continues to pound on her door. Cruz equips herself with a pen, but security notices it on the CCTV and arrests Sammy. Kyle and Joe's squad are in Texas, preparing to carry out their assignment. They're shocked to find that the mission hasn't been approved by any agency. Nonetheless, they proceed. The task is successful since they are able to remove the mark.
See if I can get this guy to pass with you.
How about that EMP? Oh, fuck me. Fucking report. Let's go. Move!
The men abandon their vehicles and gear in a barn before moving to another vehicle. Kyle promises the guys that the media will not cover this story because the administration would not allow it to be broadcast. This makes them appear weak and inept. Eshan sends Sammy home the next morning. His actions last night assured that he was no longer welcome in the group. The episode concludes on a tense note. Joe is groaning in pain after discovering that Aliyah has surprised Cruz by taking her to a fixed base operator. These are firms that provide private jet charter services. The final destination is currently unclear. However, Cruz cleverly informs Joe of the plane's registration number, and Joe ensures that they are being followed by a jet.
9109 is the type of...
You're going to be so much fun.
She thinks on her feet.
Max, you're down.
An hour out, no destination yet.